August is the month most gardeners waste. Not because they are lazy, because nobody told them what is possible. The spring garden is winding down. The summer crops are tired. And somewhere around the second week of August, most gardeners mentally check out and start waiting for next April. But here's what the gardeners who actually know their seasons understand. August is one of the best planting months of the entire year. Not in spite of the heat, because of what comes after it. Every seed you put in the ground right now matures in September and October, when nights are cool, days are shortening, and the same vegetables that were bitter and bolted in June become sweet, crisp, and extraordinary. Cold makes vegetables taste better. That is not a gardening myth, it is biology. And August planting puts you in line for exactly that harvest. 15 plants belong in your garden right now. Number 4 on this list gets sweeter every single time the temperature drops, and the gardeners who planted in August are eating the best version of it in November, while everyone else gave up in spring. And number 15 is the fastest thing on this list. It will be on your table before September is over. 15 plants, 1 window. Let's go through all of them.
Number 1. Radishes. Most people associate radishes with spring. The gardeners who grow the best ones plant them in August. Here is why August radishes beat spring radishes almost every time. Spring radishes are racing against warming temperatures. Plant too early and the soil is cold, germination is slow. Wait too long and the heat triggers bolting. The plant sends up a flower stalk, the root goes hollow and pithy, and the flavor turns aggressively sharp. August radishes have the opposite experience. Seeds germinate fast in warm soil, 4 to 5 days for most varieties. Then, as the plant matures through September, falling temperatures and shortening days work in its favor rather than against it. The result is a crisp, bright, mildly spicy radish that is noticeably better than anything grown in spring heat. Days to harvest, 22 to 28 days for most varieties. That means radishes on your table by early September. Succession plant a small row every 10 days from now through mid-September, and you will have continuous fresh radishes all the way through October. One rule: pull them on time. A radish left in the ground past its harvest window goes woody and intensely bitter within days. Mark the date, pull on schedule, enjoy what radishes actually are.
Number 2. Spinach. There's a reason every extension office in America recommends planting spinach in late summer rather than spring. Spring spinach is a race against the clock. You plant it, it grows for a few weeks, and the moment days get long and temperatures rise, it bolts. Flower stalk up, leaves bitter, done. August spinach is a completely different experience. Seeds go in when soil is still warm. Germination in 5 to 7 days. The plant establishes itself in the remaining summer heat. Then fall arrives, temperatures drop, and spinach shifts into its natural rhythm. Cool weather is what spinach was designed for. The leaves that grow in October are sweeter, more tender, and more deeply flavored than anything the spring garden produced. For August planting, choose the second half of the month, especially if you are in a hot climate. Soil above 85 degrees inhibits spinach germination. Waiting until late August gives the soil a chance to cool slightly and gives seedlings a better start. Look for Bloomsdale Longstanding or any packet labeled Slow Bolt. These resist bolting longer than standard varieties and give you a bigger harvest window. One plant gives you continuous leaves from the outer edge inward for weeks. Pull the outside leaves, leave the center growing. Fall spinach is genuinely one of the best crops you can put in the ground this month.
Number 3. Lettuce. Every gardener who struggled with bitter summer lettuce deserves a second chance. August
gives you that second chance. Lettuce that was impossible to keep productive in June and July, bolting within days of planting, leaves flooding with bitterness, becomes one of the easiest and most reliable crops in the garden when nights start cooling in September. The key with August lettuce is shade during germination. Lettuce seed has a built-in defense mechanism called thermodormancy. Above 80 degrees, the seed actually refuses to germinate. This is why summer lettuce plantings often fail before they even begin. The fix: sow seeds in a spot with afternoon shade, water the bed thoroughly before planting, and consider covering the seeded area with a light cloth for the first 5 to 7 days to keep the surface cool. Once seedlings are established, 2 inches tall and growing, they handle the remaining summer heat well. By the time they are ready to harvest, the air is cool, the leaves are sweet, and lettuce is doing exactly what it was built to do. Look for heat-tolerant varieties at your garden center, anything labeled slow bolt or heat-tolerant, and plant now while you still have a full fall season ahead.
Number 4. Kale. Kale has the most dramatic relationship with cold. When temperatures drop below freezing, not just cool, but actually freezing, kale converts its stored starches into sugars as a survival response. The leaves that come after a hard frost are noticeably sweeter, more tender, and milder than anything the plant produced all summer. This is not subtle. Kale harvested in November after several frost events is a genuinely different food than the same variety harvested in September. Farmers market vendors know this. Restaurant chefs know this. The people buying out the kale stall at 9 a.m. on a Saturday in October know this. August planting puts you in line for that harvest. Seeds go in now, plants established through September, and by October, the first frosts begin doing the work that makes this vegetable worth growing. Lacinato, dinosaur kale, and red Russian are the 2 varieties most recommended for fall harvest quality. Harvest the outer leaves, leave the center intact. One plant keeps producing through November and in zones 7 and warmer through December and into January.
Number 5. Carrots. Carrots planted in August taste better than carrots planted in spring. This is not gardening opinion, it is plant biology. Cold temperatures in October and November trigger carrots to convert their stored starches to sugars, the same mechanism that sweetens kale and Brussels sprouts. A carrot pulled in November after a few cold nights is noticeably sweeter than anything pulled in June. It is one of those gardening moments that feels like discovering something the grocery store has been hiding from you your whole life. The challenge with August carrot planting: germination in late summer heat. Carrot seeds need the top layer of soil to stay consistently moist. August heat can dry that surface layer within hours. The fix most gardeners never know: after sowing, lay a piece of burlap or a wooden board directly over the seeded row. It holds surface moisture through the heat of the day. Check underneath every morning. The moment you see tiny sprouts, remove the covering immediately. Choose Danvers or Nantes varieties for fall planting. They are shorter, stockier, and push through average soil without needing perfectly deep, loose channels. Sow now, harvest sweet carrots in October and November.
Number 6. Swiss chard. Swiss chard does something almost no other vegetable does. It thrives in August heat and keeps producing through November frost. Most cool season greens have a season, spring or fall. Swiss chard has both. It does not bolt in summer heat the way spinach does. It does not give up after the first frost. It just keeps growing. Plant it in August and harvest from October through November, and in zones 7 and warmer, right into December. One thing most people discover only after growing their own: chard leaves and chard stems are 2 separate ingredients. The leaves cook exactly like spinach, wilted in a hot pan in under 2 minutes. The thick stems take 4 to 5 minutes longer. Separate them when you harvest. Cook the stems first. Add the leaves at the end. One plant, two textures, one meal. The bright lights or rainbow variety produces stems in deep red, orange, yellow, and white. It is one of the most visually beautiful vegetables in any fall garden, and it tastes exactly as good as it looks. Number 7. Arugula. Arugula is the fastest salad green on this list. Most varieties are ready to harvest in 21 to 25 days. Plant it in August, and you are eating fresh salad greens before September is fully underway. But the timing reason goes beyond speed. Arugula grown in fall heat produces a gentler, more balanced flavor than summer arugula. The peppery bite that overwhelms some people in hot weather arugula softens as temperatures drop, leaving a clean, nutty, lightly spicy green that works in salads, on pizza, on anything. The most common arugula mistake, letting the leaves grow too large. Arugula at 2 to 3 inches long is sweet and mild. Arugula at 5 or 6 inches is intensely peppery and bitter enough to take over any dish. Harvest small. Use scissors. Cut about an inch above the soil. New growth comes back within 10 to 12 days. Plant a small patch now and another small patch in 2 weeks. 2 plantings give you continuous, mild, fresh arugula from late August through October. Number 8. Beets. Most Americans think of beets as a single crop, the root. Beet growers know there are actually 2 harvests from one planting. Beet greens, the leafy tops, are edible from 30 days onward, weeks before the roots are ready. They taste like a mild, slightly earthy spinach. Sautéed with garlic and olive oil, they are one of the simplest, most satisfying meals the fall garden produces. The roots follow at 55 to 70 days, ready in October when cool temperatures have naturally sweetened them. Beets store starches more efficiently in cold weather. An August-planted beet pulled in October is genuinely sweeter than the same variety grown in spring. Pull beets when the shoulder of the root visible at the soil surface is 2 to 3 inches across. Past that point, the texture goes woody and the sweetness drops. Chioggia beets, the Italian variety with concentric pink and white rings inside, are among the most visually striking vegetables in any fall garden. Plant them now and cut one open in October. It looks like something that belongs in a design studio. Number 9. Broccoli. Broccoli has a timing problem that trips up most American gardeners. They plant it in spring, it bolts in summer heat before heading properly. They decide broccoli is difficult and they never try again. Broccoli is not difficult, it just needs to mature in cool weather, and August planting delivers exactly that. Seeds started indoors right now produce transplant-ready seedlings in 3 to 4 weeks. Transplants set out in late August and early September mature their heads in October, when cool temperatures concentrate flavor and tighten the heads. A broccoli head that develops in 55-degree October air is crisp, sweet, and nothing like the woody, yellow-edged heads that come from spring plants struggling in June heat. After cutting the main head, do not pull the plant. Side shoots develop from the base and leaf axils for weeks after the main harvest, smaller than the main head, but just as flavorful. One August planting extends your broccoli season well into November in most U.S. growing zones. Look for Bell Star, Calabrese, or any variety labeled 60 to 70 days. These mature fast enough to beat first frost across most of the continental United States. Number 10. Mustard greens. Mustard greens mature in 30 to 40 days from seed, faster than almost anything else on this list. Plant them in August and you have fresh, bold cooking greens ready before September is over. Most Americans who have eaten mustard greens had them in a southern context, slow cooked with smoked meat, deeply savory, slightly spicy, rich. That preparation is one of the great dishes of American cooking. But young mustard greens harvested in September, when cool temperatures have softened their sharpness, are also excellent raw. Mild enough for salads when eaten small, peppery and vibrant in a way that makes them the most interesting green in a fall bowl. The timing tip that matters. August mustard greens planted in full summer heat produce leaves that are aggressively sharp, too sharp for most palates. Plant in the second half of August. The plants establish in the last weeks of summer heat and mature as September temperatures drop. That cooler maturation softens the sharpness and brings a balance of spice and sweetness that summer-harvested mustard greens never have. Harvest young, leave the center growing. One planting gives you cuttings into October.
Number 11. Bok choy. Bok choy is one of the most overlooked vegetables in American home gardening and one of the most rewarding to grow in fall. Baby bok choy varieties are ready in 30 days. Full-size varieties take 45 to 60 days. Either way, an August planting delivers a real harvest well before first frost. For anyone who has eaten bok choy in Chinese American cooking, that crisp, mild vegetable with the white stem and dark green leaf in stir-fries and soups, growing your own produces something noticeably better. Fresh bok choy has a crunch and sweetness that begins to fade within days of harvest. The grocery store version is almost never truly fresh. For August planting, two things matter: shade and moisture. Bok choy seed does not germinate well above 80 degrees. Sow in a spot with afternoon shade and water consistently until seedlings are established. Once past germination, bok choy grows remarkably fast in the cooling temperatures of fall. By the time it is ready to harvest in late September or October, it is at its sweetest. Cool weather bok choy tastes fundamentally different from anything grown in summer heat. Number 12. Kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is one of those vegetables that confuses American shoppers on sight. It looks like nothing else in the produce section: a round, swollen stem, not quite a root, not quite a bulb, with leaves shooting out in every direction. Most people assume it must be complicated to cook. It is not. Peel it, slice it, eat it raw. The flavor is somewhere between broccoli stem and apple, mild, slightly sweet, surprisingly crisp. No cooking required for the best experience. It is also excellent roasted, where it develops a nuttiness and sweetness similar to roasted turnip, but milder. For August planting, kohlrabi is ideal. It matures in 45 to 60 days and prefers to size up in the cooler weeks of September. Harvest when the bulb is 2 to 3 inches across. Let it grow larger and it turns woody and pithy. The texture becomes tough and the flavor intensifies in the wrong direction. White Vienna and purple Vienna are the two most widely available varieties in American seed aisles and garden centers. They taste identical. The purple one just looks better on the table.
Number 13. Turnips. Turnips get dismissed in America because most people have only ever eaten large, old ones, starchy, fibrous, and aggressively sharp. That version of turnips is a storage turnip, not a fresh turnip. A turnip polled at golf ball size, 2 inches across, from an August planting maturing in October, is a completely different vegetable: mild, slightly sweet, crisp enough to eat raw like a radish. And before the root is ready, the greens give you a first harvest. Turnip greens are edible from 30 days onward, 2 to 3 weeks before the roots reach size. They cook like mustard greens, slightly peppery and substantial, and they are one of the most nutritious greens in the fall garden. One planting, 2 crops, 6 weeks from seed to first harvest. The variety that has changed the most minds about turnips in America is hakure, the Japanese salad turnip. Small, smooth, white,
and mild enough to eat straight from the ground. Find it at specialty nurseries or order seeds online. Plant it now and taste what a turnip actually is.
Number 14. Collard greens. Collard greens are the toughest leafy vegetable available to American home gardeners. Tougher than kale, hardier than chard, more cold-tolerant than almost anything else in the fall garden. In zones 7 and warmer, which covers the entire American South, much of the Mid-Atlantic, and parts of the Pacific Coast, collard greens planted in August produce through fall and into winter. The first frost does not end them, it improves them. Cold triggers the same starch-to-sugar conversion that sweetens kale and Brussels sprouts. In collards, that conversion is pronounced. A plant that was bold and slightly bitter in September becomes rich, sweet, and deeply savory after the first hard November frost. This is why collard greens cooked after first frost taste different from the ones cooked in September. Southern gardeners who grow their own have known this for generations. Space plants 18 inches apart. They get large. Harvest the lower outer leaves first. The plant keeps producing upward from the center for months after the first cutting. In zones 5 and 6, a hard freeze will eventually end the season, but not before 2 to 3 months of the best greens your fall garden produces.
Number 15. Scallions. Scallions are the most practical fall crop on this list. Not the most dramatic, not the most surprising, but the one you will reach for in the kitchen more than almost any other vegetable you grow. Fresh green onions on eggs, in salads, on soup, on anything grilled, having them steps from your kitchen door, on demand from late September through November, is one of those small things that makes home gardening feel genuinely worth it every day. Seeds go in now. Sprouts appear in 7 to 10 days. Ready to harvest in 60 days. The one technique that multiplies your harvest: do not pull the whole plant. Snip the green tops with scissors about an inch above the soil surface. Leave the bulb in the ground. New tops grow back in 10 to 14 days. One August planting gives you 2 to 3 cuttings before the season closes, sometimes more in milder zones. Scallions also need almost nothing from you. A 6-inch strip along the edge of any bed, regular water, no special care. The simplest vegetable on this list, and one of the most useful.
15 vegetables, all of them going in the ground this month, all of them giving you a real harvest in September, October, and November, when the garden feels finished to everyone else and yours is just hitting its stride. August is not the end of gardening season. It is the beginning of the best part of it. Which one are you planting first? Drop it in the comments and add your zone if you can. Someone gardening in your exact climate is reading those answers right now. Subscribe. More of this every week.